If you feel that the cross is an insult to you, this is not the place where you should live. The world is vast and full of Muslim nations, and we will fight the Islamization of Europe because we do not intend to become a Muslim continent. This is an excerpt from the speech of the new Iron Lady who will rule Italy, a watermelon saleswoman, and Mussolini's granddaughter by extremism, hater of homophobia and immigrants, and all that is not Catholic and European. Who is Giorgia Melanie? How did she become Italy's first far-right prime minister since World War II? Why does she hate Muslims and demand the closure of Italy's maritime borders, where tens of thousands of them reach annually? Watch the full video to find out. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon to get notified as I upload a new video. Let's go on. Giorgia Melanie, Christian and Italian, the first woman to rule Rome. She was born in 1977 in the Italian capital Rome to a left-leaning father and a right-wing mother. Her father was a tax advisor and was convicted for drug trafficking and sentenced to 9 years in a Spanish prison in 1995. He left the family when she was 1 year old in 1978 by moving to the Canary Islands. The mother and her daughter struggled a lot after that, which led to Giorgia's childhood being very difficult, as she had to work as a watermelon saleswoman in a market and then evolved into a waitress in a bar in the capital, Rome. Giorgia said, "He left home when I was 1 year old. He lived at Canaries, and we used to go to him for 1-2 weeks a year, and that's it. When I was 11, he gave a speech that shouldn't be given to a little girl, and I said, I don't want to see you ever again. When he died, I couldn't really feel an emotion. It's like he was a stranger." Perhaps it was this childhood that contributed to the birth of Giorgia's extremist tendencies, growing up hateful of leftist ideas and embracing extremist ideas, and seeking to express them even in adolescence. As early as 15 years of age, she joined the neo-fascist movement's Youth Front. In 1995, the young right-wing woman became a member of the fascist-oriented National Alliance Party. In 2006, at the age of 29, Meloni became the youngest ever vice president of Italy's House of Representatives. 2 years later, she became one of Italy's youngest ministers when Silvio Berlusconi was appointed her as a minister of youth in his government. And she became very close to Berlusconi and his coalition, the People of Freedom. But in 2012, she criticized the man who brought her into the world of politics and separated from him to launch her new party, the Brothers of Italy, which ran in the 2018 elections and won only 4% of the vote. Now, in 2022, in Italy's early elections following the collapse of the ruling coalition led by the Democratic Party, the Italian Brothers Party issues the results with a large majority, allowing its former watermelon saleswoman to assume power in a country that has avoided the rule of the fascist right since 1945. That is, since the fascist leader Benito Mussolini fell after his loss in World War II, dragged him into the streets of Rome, and executed him. Historically, no party with fascist or extremist ideas was able to lead Italy to avoid what was repeatedly said during the First and Second World Wars. But what happened until Italy or its people reversed their decision? In the wake of Russia's war on their neighbors in Ukraine, the European continent was the one who paid the more price after Ukraine due to the repercussions of the war, knowing that the Europeans decided to impose sanctions on Moscow that they said would make the Russians regret. But what happened may seem the opposite. The curse of war and its woes reached even the capitals of Europe, and as it is said, magic turned against the magician, and a government fell in Britain and another was shaken until the calamity reached Italy, which suffered like others from the energy crisis created by the Russians, and the government of the Democrats fell. The Italians went out to elect a government since the time of the Hot, perhaps because they believed that war had returned or was approaching. What proves a previous theory that saw Putin's new war as the greatest danger to the old continent since the days of the world wars, or the right to the throne of power? In the third largest economy in the European Union, it warns of winds of change that may afflict the European continent. It is known that the right in Italy and elsewhere are nationalist fascist parties that do not believe much in openness and integration, just as the right-wing parties are hostile to immigrants and those coming to take shelter in the arms of the old continent from the oppression of their regimes and countries. And talking here about Muslims and African Arabs who invaded the European continent in the past years in search of safety and asylum. The Brothers of Italy party, headed by Giorgia, are the most prominent opponents of these groups, and Meloni in particular, as it is one of the most severely attacked Muslims and their culture, accusing them of invading her country, as it previously demanded the closure of Italy's maritime borders, which are reached annually by tens of thousands of fleeing from their country's wars and inferno. She is also one of the staunch haters of homosexuals, and has previously attacked them severely, and has always advocated that human beings are of two genders, male and female, and she is also a devout Christian. It is distinguished from the rest of the right-wing parties in Italy by its strong respect for the Vatican and the Pope as a representative of Catholic Christians. As for the biggest shock for Giorgia Meloni, it is her respect for Mussolini, who she previously described as a seasoned politician who loves Italy, just as the First Lady of Italy did not hide her love for fascism and said that she was reconciled with it. And this is what most frightened her near and far from Italy, as Meloni and her party call for Italy first. That is, they have to take care of Italy and fortify it before engaging in the concerns of the European continent, which warns that Europe is on a date with a new dress that it may wear, especially if other countries follow Italy's path in delivering the far right. And this is all for the benefit of one person in the world currently, someone who lives in the Kremlin in Moscow and declared war on the world, named Vladimir Putin. And that's it. If you enjoyed the video and want more like it, be sure to leave a thumbs up below in appreciation. And if you haven't already, you really want to subscribe to my channel and tick the bell icon, so you get notified as I upload a new video every week. See you in the next video.